Welcome, gangsters. We are here today with a video for you guys on what stock should you buy and hold, AMD versus NVDA. We know that when you have a diversified long-term portfolio, you don't have multiple of the same sector stocks for the most part. Obviously, there are exceptions, but usually you would not want to have AMD and NVIDIA. You could do it where you have a ideal position size for the semiconductor space and you put half in each. That's possible. But a lot of people want to know which is better, which one is going to have the higher upside for the next few years. So here I am, going to tell you guys AMD or NVIDIA. Which one should you buy and hold? I want to say thank you guys for tuning into this video. Drop a like, subscribe to this channel, and comment other stocks you guys want me to take a look at and give you my opinion on. Top into this, we have a lot to talk about. So we're going to start off with this AMD chart here. This is the weekly, and you guys can see there was a bit of some head and shoulders action. It's not very clean. There was one here, not very clean. There's another one here, not very clean. But the big part of what we want to talk about here, let me get my tool up, is the fact that this, what is that, about $73 was very, very important from here, so 5 times. We busted through it, and now we're back up right around that level. Right about $73, $72.50-ish, something like that. It's going to be very important about how we bounce around there, if we reclaim it here, or if we're going to break back down below and kind of confirm lower. So it'll be interesting to see, but for the most part, this chart is still pretty bearish. There's not really much sign of reversal here. Obviously, we've had some green movement since October 10th. There's been a big green candle a few weeks ago, multiple green candles before that. So we've had some bullish movement, but we are still right on the 200 MA. We're below the 50 and the 20. And there's a lot of room down on this one. There's 55 was where it bounced, but below that, you could see 40 or sub 40. So there's some room on this if it wants to continue to the downside. You can see where we're at right now. There's a large amount of volume above, so that's something to keep an eye on. For the most part, AMD looks like it could have some more downside. Let's check out NVIDIA. So NVIDIA has a little bit of a different look on it. It's fairly similar, as in we made a new low and now we're coming back above, but this one seems to have a bit more bullish momentum, as in these weeks that AMD was barely green, NVIDIA is very green and is having pretty nice weekly candles to the upside. So you guys can see it's above the 200 and it is above the 50. That's the 20, sorry. So it's above the 200 and it is above the 20. And it's also above, let me get my tool back. I don't know why it keeps taking it off. It's also above, kind of this area of resistances. So it had resistance here back in August of 2020, back in November of 2020, back in February of 2021, and it's above that now. So there's a chance that this NVIDIA chart is bullish, but there's a chance the market also pulls it down. So neither of the charts are looking particularly great one direction. So we're going to have to do a lot more fundamental analysis in this video to determine, which one we should invest in versus the other. So let's move into the fundamental part of this. So AMD, this is AMD fundamentals. The market cap is $116 billion. Income, they had $2.27 billion. Sales, $22.8 billion. Book per share has this at $33.7 per share. Cash is $3.52 per share. You guys can see that this has a really, really, decent debt to equity ratio. Quick ratio and current ratio are not bad either. So they can pay off debt if they were to attain lots of debt. PE ratio is 43.8. This is a tech stock. These are both tech stocks. Their PE ratios are going to be high. That's still higher than I would love, but it's not bad for a tech stock. Obviously, we talked about Tesla a video or two ago, and I did not like their PE ratio being that high. That was due to others in the market having much lower PE ratios. NVIDIA and AMD both have high PE ratios, so it makes a bit of sense for them to us to accept their high PE ratios as investors. You guys can see that the EPS is very nice. You know, they've been increasing pretty steadily. Their margins are also pretty nice. They've been doing well. You know, obviously we would like them to keep expanding that, and it seems like they are. We'll get into that a little bit later, but things are looking decent here on the AMD side of things. P to PS ratio, it could be a bit lower. I would prefer it to be a bit lower, but I would also prefer that PE ratio to be a bit lower. The PB on AMD is actually pretty nice. 2.17 is not bad at all. Let's move to NVIDIA here. So NVIDIA actually has a lower book to share than AMD. So you can go back to AMD. You can see it was 33.7. NVIDIA is 8.6. We do not love that for NVIDIA. Not good. Not great. Not good. You know, I don't want to say it's bad, but it's definitely something we don't want to see when comparing to two stocks in the same sector. So NVIDIA has a $378 billion market cap, which is a little bit over 3 times AMD. Their income is a little bit less than 3 times, which leads us to a PE ratio of 67. So the PE ratio for NVIDIA is over 50% higher than AMD's. Which also leads me to believe maybe AMD is at the better bargain price at this moment. Their sales are 28.5 billion. AMD had 22.8 billion. So AMD's sales are not far off from NVIDIA's, only 6 billion. And so that puts the NVIDIA price to sales ratio at 13.2. Their EPS is very nice, as you guys can see. This is very nice. It looks similar to the AMD's. It might be even a little bit better. Margins are also very good, maybe a little bit better than AMD. So they have the upper hand on EPS based on just this FinViz scan, and then also their margins. But we can see that they have a bit of debt. Their ratios, you know, showing they can pay off that debt, so not bad. But this is, you know, these up here kind of concern me. The fact that the PS and the PE are so much higher than AMD's, and their sales, AMD and NVIDIA, are not far off. AMD, you know, shores up a bit of that that margin, then it's very possible that they could catch up to income on NVIDIA quicker than most people think. And so you have to determine in your own head, do I want to pay 3 times the market cap for NVIDIA when AMD only has 6 billion less in sales, and if they just work on their margins a bit, could be right up next to them on their income. So there's already kind of our first inclination that maybe AMD is the better investment for 3-5 years down the line. But here's the thing. Sentiment from friends I have, experts, people that I've just heard all around the internet say that NVIDIA has the much better graphics cards. And I've heard that, well, graphics cards, blah, 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 semiconductors, all this stuff for tech purposes. I've heard NVIDIA is a bit superior with their products. So we're going to go look at this review later. First, we need to talk a little bit more about the EPS and earnings reports, but then we will get to kind of product and allocation of the company. And so which one you think kind of fits your investment, what you're looking for a bit more. Let's move into the EPS. I just wanted to show you guys all of this stuff quickly. This is AMD, and you guys can see that year over year, everything is up. So this is a healthy company. This is why people are paying that 40 PE ratio. This is a very healthy company, and this is a company that is increasing, by the month, by the quarter, by the year. They're making more money every year. They're kind of increasing their revenue each year. They're bettering those margins each year. So these are healthy companies. These are companies that you can feel comfortable buying because they're making a crap load of money. So you guys can see that this balance sheet, if you saw this on like a smaller company, you'd feel like, wow, this is just fantastic. Since it's AMD, it's just kind of what you expect, but this is great. We love to see this. Let's move on to AMD here. This is what I wanted to show you guys. So they expect revenue to be 5.5 billion, increase of 14% year over year. Year over year, they expect non-GAAP gross margin to be approximately 51%. An increase of 43% over 2021. Guys, just great numbers. That's the entire point of these few things I'm showing you. And then let's go to NVIDIA. revenue. You can just walk right over here to quarter over quarter and year over year. Up, 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 up. I don't know what else to say. These are companies that are so healthy with such good cash flow. Their products, they're shilling them out. They're selling them. They're getting money. They're making money. They're making investors money. Okay, not the bear market. They're not making investors money in that market, but they are showing their investors how healthy they are year over year, quarter over quarter. They're doing so well. So we've seen so far a bit of the fundamentals showing that AMD is a bit better from a valuation standpoint, that there might be a bit more room for market cap increase on AMD. So let's move into product analysis. And I want to preface this by saying I read probably 8 articles from different experts, different websites, and I wanted to find one that I felt like was, close to kind of the mean of what I had read. I'd read a lot of different stuff. There was a bit of variance on opinions, but I found one that I felt like was kind of in the middle and kind of showed what the most articles had in common. So this is this article. So it's from Reviewed. I have no idea about the credibility of this website. I also see that this is the author, and I have no idea that credibility, but this is just the article that I found to have the most confluence with other articles that I read. Let's scroll here. So we're looking at performance. It's going to give us kind of an overview of which is better for each section. So we have overview here. It says it comes close. Okay, actually, I fucked that up. Let's start up here at the top. NVIDIA's graphic cards had a comfortable lead on AMD cards for years, but AMD is kind of starting to bridge the gap to summarize. So let's start with performance. AMD and NVIDIA are close when it comes to 1080p and 1440p gaming, but NVIDIA is the clear winner for 4K and ray-traced gaming. So NVIDIA wins the performance. It's close, but NVIDIA gets that 4K and ray-traced. Features. Let's see what it says about features. AMD bundles all of its features into one overlay menu, but NVIDIA chose to split its features into several programs and menus. If you want a streamlined experience, AMD will have resolution, HDR, FSR, refresh rate, and other settings all in the same place. So AMD gets that one from this article. Compatibility. We're seeing for casual use, the difference between AMD and NVIDIA support is the most apparent in ray tracing for applications that support ray tracing. There is usually better optimization for NVIDIA drivers than AMD drivers. It's becoming less common to run into ray trace games that only support NVIDIA cards, but AMD cards are still like an afterthought. So NVIDIA is the pick there, but the big thing I see there is you're starting to see AMD fit its way into almost all of the what's the word I'm looking for? Just this sentence here. It's becoming less common to run into ray trace games that only support NVIDIA cards. So AMD is starting to be supported at a higher rate price. I don't even think I need to read any of this. AMD gets the nod there. And then let's just read the end of this. So it says both NVIDIA and AMD make great graphic cards, but NVIDIA is still in the lead. If you care about ray tracing, streaming, video production, or professional applications, NVIDIA graphic cards are the better choice. However, if you're not interested in ray tracing and just want to push frame rates, AMD will offer better performance at the same price point. So the bridge is shrinking, is what you can take from this article. Over the years, my friends basically told me the same exact thing. Over the years, NVIDIA has just kind of been known as the better company, but it seems like they're becoming closer. AMD has a lower price point, and take for that what you will. If you're a diehard AMD fan because of price point and certain things, then this is a plus for you here. If you're a diehard NVIDIA fan, you can still hear that they're still in a lead. This is a plus for you here. This is all in how you interpret it and what you value. Do you value widespread, decent pricing with an also very good product that is getting closer to the leader, or do you value the leader in performance? Do you value just that top level? It's all based on what you guys think, which one you value more. If you value the performance more, then you're going to go on NVIDIA. If you value great product for a better price, or a little bit, a little cheaper, possibly more widespread, then you're maybe thinking AMD. But yeah, that's kind of the product review, and it's kind of up to you guys to decide. Let's move into the last thing here. This is going to be allocation of their business. So you guys can see this. I'll read it to you guys. It says, however, its gaming segment isn't the only part of its business strengthened by its diversification. While NVIDIA's business is 30% gaming and 56.7% data centers, AMD's is much more evenly split between its four segments. AMD's revenue was 22% from data centers, 32.8% from clients, 25% from gaming, and 19% embedded products. So what we're seeing there is AMD having a bit more reach in the market. NVIDIA knows where it wants to be, and NVIDIA is strengthening those parts of its business, but AMD has a bit more to offer in the way of diversification. So as we diversify our portfolios, I'm buying Apple, I'm buying Tesla, I'm buying NVIDIA, I'm buying all these things that are different sectors. We also want businesses to be that way. We want them to have a reach that is just not so narrow. We want them to have other, if something goes bad for them, we want them to have other revenue producing streams so that they don't just fall apart. And it looks like AMD does have a bit more of that diversification. So then again, it all comes down to what you guys value. Do you value the diversification of a business? Do you value reach of a business? Do you value focusing on what you're good at as a business? And I'll give you guys my 2 cents here. I value the diversification from AMD. I value the fact that they are keeping things fairly evenly split. I value the fact that if something goes wrong for their business, they have many other revenue streams. For me, that's important for my long-term investing. If that's important to you guys, then AMD gets another check here, another check mark. And so between these two, for me, I think AMD is the pretty clear-cut winner based on the valuation we talked about earlier, the fact that AMD has more room to move, almost the same sales as NVIDIA, or approaching NVIDIA's sales numbers. AMD could work on its margins a bit to try to catch up some there. AMD's a little bit more diversified. They're getting closer to the performance of NVIDIA, but they're keeping their prices down, which I think is very respectable and a decent business practice. NVIDIA is a great long-term hold. Don't get me wrong. I just think AMD has more upside. So I'm going to say buy and hold on AMD. NVIDIA is also a buy and hold. It's just not for me. It's not my buy and hold. But what you guys can take from this video is, a bit of the looking at sectors, finding the leaders, and determining which one is more suitable to your investment purposes. I hope this video helped you guys out. I hope you guys got some good stuff out of it. I love making these. They're super fun. So yeah, drop a like, drop a comment of what you guys want me to do next. And yeah, peace out, guys. Thank you.